A few weeks ago, my neighbor asked me to dog sit while she went out of town for a few days. Her name is Rachel, and she's a single woman who lives alone in the house right across from mine. She always joked that she adopted her dog, a big boxer named Luna, so she could have scary dog privilege. That was always funny to me, because Luna is completely blind. Despite that, she's surprisingly good at navigating her home. She knows every inch of it, where every wall and corner is, and she has this calm, trusting energy that makes her feel human almost, like she can sense emotions instead of faces. Rachel rarely left town. She hated leaving Luna behind because of the dog's anxiety and abandonment issues. But this time, she didn't have a choice. She had to attend a funeral 3 states away. So she asked if I could stay in her house for 3 days and 2 nights. I said yes, of course. I've known Rachel since I was little. She's kind of like the friendly aunt of the neighborhood. The only thing she emphasized, aside from giving Luna her food and walks, was that her bedroom door had to stay shut while she was gone. I didn't ask why. I figured maybe she just didn't want the dog to wander in there or knock things over. The first day went perfectly fine. Luna got comfortable with me quickly. We played fetch in the yard, even though she had to rely on my voice instead of sight. She was sweet, playful, and totally harmless. That night, I fell asleep on the couch with Luna curled up at my feet. The next morning was quiet. I fed her, watched some TV, and just hung around the house until around noon, when some friends texted me asking if I wanted to hang out for a bit. I hadn't left the house since I started dog sitting, so I figured being gone for a few hours wouldn't hurt. Luna seemed relaxed enough, so I locked up, told her I'd be right back, and headed out. We hung out until sunset. I made sure to get my friends to drop me off early. I didn't want to leave Luna alone too long. But the second I stepped into that house, something felt wrong. The air felt heavier, colder somehow, and Luna, the calmest dog I'd ever met, was growling at me. She was backed into a corner near the hallway, hackles raised, teeth bared. At first, I thought she was just upset that I'd left her. Maybe the anxiety was acting up again. I knelt down, spoke softly, offered her treats, but she wouldn't come near me, wouldn't eat, wouldn't even wag her tail. Her head was turned toward the hallway, and she was fixated, like she could hear or smell something I couldn't. That's when the uneasy feeling really hit me. I stood up slowly and looked down the hallway. It was dark except for a little moonlight spilling in from a side window. "Luna," I whispered. "What is it?" She didn't move, just kept growling, low, deep, and constant. I thought maybe she'd heard an animal outside, or maybe something fell in the other room. So, trying to calm her, I walked down the hall. She followed me halfway, then stopped. Her head turned toward the bedroom door. Rachel told me not to open. Luna sniffed under the door for a moment, then suddenly began barking, loud and vicious, snapping at the air. It startled me so badly, I nearly jumped. I didn't want to open that door. I really didn't, but Luna wouldn't calm down. "Okay," I muttered, hand trembling as I reached for the handle. "Let's just see what's in there." The door creaked open. Luna immediately pushed past me, nose down, tail stiff, and stepped into the room. For a few seconds, she just sniffed the air, circling slowly. Then she stopped beside the bed. Lowering her head, she leaned down and sniffed underneath it. Then she snapped back, teeth bared, snarling violently, barking louder than I'd ever heard before. Every hair on my arm stood up. "Hello," I called out, my voice cracking. "Is someone in here?" Nothing, just Luna's growling and my own pulse pounding in my ears. I reached for my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crouched down slowly near the doorway. My heart was hammering as I tilted the light beneath the bed. And that's when I saw them. A pair of human eyes, wide, cold, and unblinking, staring straight back at me from the darkness. I froze. Every instinct screamed at me to run. I grabbed Luna by the collar, yanked her back, and slammed the bedroom door shut so hard the walls shook. I locked it, my hands shaking, then sprinted to the spare room at the end of the hall, locking that one too. I called the police immediately, whispering so whoever it was wouldn't hear me. It felt like forever before they arrived. When the officers got there, they searched the entire house. The window in Rachel's bedroom was open, the curtain fluttering in the cold night air. Whoever had been hiding there was gone. The cops said they likely broke in earlier that day while I was out, planning to wait, thinking the owner would return alone. That thought made my skin crawl. I still can't shake the image of those eyes under the bed, pale, wild, and aware of me before I even realized what I was looking at. After that, Rachel installed a full security system, cameras, alarms, motion lights, the works. She still thanks me for watching Luna, says the dog probably saved my life. As for me, I haven't gone near her bedroom since. And every night now, when I check into my own bed, I half expect to see those same eyes staring back from the dark. I wanted some extra spending money, enough to go out with friends more, grab food, catch a movie without asking my parents. Back when Facebook Marketplace still let people post quick gigs, I started doing odd jobs around my neighborhood. Mowing lawns at first, but after a few sweaty weekends, I wanted something easier. That's when I found a one-night dog-sitting job for $50. Easy money. I messaged the owner, a man named Mr. Harlan, and a few days later he said he'd be out of town overnight. We met at his place, so he could show me the ropes. The house looked old, 1970s ranch style, with peeling paint, a sagging porch step, and an overgrown yard that hummed with bugs. Inside smelled like stale smoke and motor oil. Mr. Harlan himself was huge, easily 6'6", with long, greasy gray hair, a faded band tee, and a distracted, skunky odor that clung to him. Still, he acted friendly enough. He introduced me to his dogs, two Rottweiler sisters named Nova and Rhea, big, muscular, and endlessly curious. They'll miss me and act up a little, he said. Just keep him fed, water out, and let him into the backyard every few hours. Make yourself at home. After a quick walkthrough, he left. The door clicked, and the house settled into that hollow, quiet old houses have at night. I picked the couch, flipped on the TV, and tried to ignore the chaos. Magazines stacked on chairs, a sink full of dishes, and tools scattered near the garage door like someone had dropped them mid-project and never came back. Nova and Rhea kept their distance at first, tails swaying uncertainly. Not aggressive, just assessing me. Over time, they lay down near the hallway, heads on paws, ears twitching at every sound. Around 10, their mood shifted. They sat up together, alert, restless. I grabbed the back door latch to let them out, but the second I stood, both dogs padded straight to the front door instead. They whined, tails flagging hard, bodies tense like they expected someone to walk in. A chill crawled up my back. I checked the peephole. Nothing. Porch empty, street quiet. Okay, silly dogs, I muttered, trying to laugh it off. Backyard time. I slid open the glass door. The motion lights snapped on, and they trotted outside reluctantly. I watched them nose the grass, then shut the door to hit the bathroom. The bathroom had a small frosted window facing the yard. The motion light spilled a soft square of glow across the glass. I was staring at nothing in particular when a shadow crossed the window. I flinched so hard I nearly lost my balance, heart pounding. I finished fast, kept the mess for later, and hurried back to the slider to scan the yard without opening it. No trees, no tall shrubs near that window, too high up for a dog, which meant if I saw a silhouette, it was probably a person. My gut tightened. I thumbed 911 and whispered to the operator, "I'm house sitting. I think someone's creeping around out back. I'm alone." I gave the address, voice shaking. Then from inside the house, I heard a noise, a low grind of metal, a dull thunk, the kind of sound garage doors make when they're tested by hand. The dispatcher said not to investigate, to stay put, but fear can make you foolish. I crept to the door that led to the garage, pressed my ear against it, heard nothing, and turned the knob a fraction. The door ripped out of my hand. Mr. Harlan filled the frame, towering over me, eyes flat, a long knife in his fist catching the weak hallway light. Before I could react, he grabbed my collar, yanked me close until the blade hovered an inch from my cheek, and shoved me through into the shadowed garage. Downstairs, he said calmly, like he was asking me to take out the trash. Now, a door to a cellar stood open, cold air breathing up from below. I descended, steps creaking, his shoes heavy behind me. The basement smelled like damp concrete and old rubber, piles of junk in the corners, cracked buckets, a busted treadmill. In the center, a tripod with a camera aimed at an empty patch of floor. Something hard struck my back. I stumbled and hit the ground. "Don't get up," he said, voice mild, knife still in his hand as he adjusted the camera toward me. The little red record light blinked alive. "It's time to get paid," he murmured. $50, right? He lifted a canvas bank bag from shelf, loosened the drawstring, and poured a cascade of quarters onto the floor in front of me. A glittering metal spill that bounced and rolled. "Pick them up," he said. My hand shook as I reached. "Not with your hands," he added, almost bored. "With your mouth. Make sure the camera sees." Tears burned my eyes, humiliation and terror tangling in my throat. But the knife hovered, the camera stared, and I had no leverage against a man that size. I bent forward, lips to the grimy concrete, jaw aching as I pinched a coin between my teeth. He watched, eyes empty. I looked up, pleading, and he said one word, "Swallow." The coin hit my tongue like ice. I forced it down, gagging, chest heaving, eyes watering. "Keep going," he said, "until they're gone. You want to get paid, don't you?" Time stretched thin, nausea rolling through me, metal scraping my throat one coin at a time. My mind kept snagging on one small hope. My phone was still in my pocket, 911 still open. Maybe the dispatcher heard the garage. Maybe officers were already en route. Upstairs, faint at first. Then closer came the pound of fists on the front door, voices shouting, the crackle of radios. He stiffened, then bolted for the stairs. I curled on my side, choking air. The tripod still pointed where I lay. Doors slammed, boots thundered, and within moments the house exploded with commands. "Police! Show your hands!" Followed by a scramble and the metallic snap of cuffs. They found me in the cellar, pale, shaking, breath hitching around the weight in my gut. An officer crouched beside me, voice steady. "You're safe now. Ambulance is on the way." At the hospital, they put me under, removed the coins, and kept me overnight. For weeks after, I still found change turning up in the worst possible ways. A dark joke the universe wouldn't let me forget. People ask how I survived. Honestly, I think a dinosaur of a man forgot how smartphones work, and a calm dispatcher refused to hang up. As for the $50, I earned it, just not the way I thought. And I'm done with Facebook gigs. Forever. I used to have a great side gig. I walked a family friend's dog every night for quick cash. Easy money, simple routine, downtown views. Her name is Ms. Whitaker, an older Southern lady with a sharp wit and softer heart. She lives in a high-rise downtown. I live out in the suburbs, so I'd swing by around 8 p.m. to take her tiny poodle, Pip, on a bedtime loop around the little park across the street. Ms. Whitaker can't see well at night anymore. She'd always say, "Honey, be careful out there." And I'd laugh it off, tell her I'd be fine. I was fine until I wasn't. That night began like any other. I clipped Pip's leash. The lobby doors breathed out warm air, and we crossed to the park where the lamps paint little islands of light. Pip sniffed bravely like he owned all of it. Then I noticed a man standing under a tree at the far edge of the green. Too still, too focused. He was a good distance away, maybe 90 or 100 feet, but his face never turned. His eyes never left me. I pretended not to see him, gave Pip a few more seconds, then scooped him up and headed for the building. From the corner of my eye, movement. The man stepped out from the shadow, started walking toward me. My walk became a power walk. Keys already in my hand, breath tight in my chest. I checked behind me. He was closing the distance, jaw set, gaze locked like I was a task he meant to finish. I hit the front door, scanned my fob. The lock clicked, and just as it began to re-engage, he caught the handle and swept inside. The lobby felt suddenly too quiet. I punched the elevator button, stared at the floor, tried to look calm. He stood a few feet away, not looking at the directory, not at the mailboxes, only at me. "Do you live here?" he asked, voice low, a little too eager. I ignored him, jaw clenched, arms around Pip. The elevator arrived with a cheerful ding that felt like a bad joke. I stepped in. He slipped in after me, close enough to smell street sweat and stale smoke. I pressed 12. He leaned, tapped 12 too. "Oh hey, my floor," he said. "We could be neighbors. You live alone." My stomach dropped. I prayed those 30 seconds would end without a hand on my wrist or a foot blocking the door. The doors slid open to the 12th. I stepped out. He followed so closely I could feel his breath. Thank God Ms. Whitaker's condo was the first door by the side elevator. I went straight to it and hammered my fist on the wood like I was the police. "Ms. Whitaker, it's me," I called, voice shaking. "Open up." I felt the man shift behind me, a half step closer, the kind of movement that says now. The deadbolt turned. The door cracked open. One blue eye peeked through the chain. She saw my face, then saw him. In one smooth motion, she popped the chain, flung the door wide, and produced a tiny nickel-plated pistol from a basket on the console table. "Sweetheart," she said, voice like ice, "you're on the wrong floor." The man froze, blinked, then spun on his heel and sprinted for the stairwell. The door banged once. Then his footsteps fell away. Fast, frantic. Ms. Whitaker ushered me inside, locked the door, locked it again, and set the little gun on the table like a paperweight. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Pip trembled against my chest, then sneezed like he was scolding me for the whole ordeal. Ms. Whitaker started to laugh, that warm, effortless laugh of hers, and said, "Honey, that thing hasn't been loaded in 20 years, but it still gets the point across." We called building security. They swept the halls, filed a report. The night manager promised to pull camera footage and notify the police. I finished Pip's walk inside that night, trotting laps up and down the hallway like it was a tiny racetrack. Ms. Whitaker made tea, insisted I sit, and told me 3 different stories about outsmarting fools twice her size. I'm grateful she was there. I'm grateful that little pistol looked louder than it was. But I won't be taking nighttime jobs downtown anymore. Not after the elevator shadow. Not after the door that almost didn't open in time. Some lessons arrive with a ding and a stare, and once you learn them, you don't press that button again.